Yeah. So I've been a startup guy all my life. I started my startup journey way back in 2004. I was the fifth employee at usendit.com, which is a Valley startup. And I quit Usendit when they raised 20 million in venture funding to pursue an MBA in the UK. Big mistake. I realized it. And I completed my MBA though and came back to India in 2007, started two other startups. They were angel invested by Silicon Valley angels, but they failed miserably. I started another comics website, and I scaled that to the top 60,000 websites of the world in just 6 months' time. And I sold it to a Bollywood producer. After that, I moved to Bangalore because iPhone was just launched, and I thought that apps are gonna take over the world, which they did, of course. I hired one part-time dev and scaled that company to 70 people in just 2 years' time. And we were working on a very ambitious project. We were making mobile ad server in 2009. This is before AWS or of all these kind of things. We could not succeed in making that mobile ad server, but we were doing like about $300,000 ARR on doing services. So I got like acquisition offer from Hinduja Global, from Repro, and from Macmillan UK. But I was very young and naive, and I never realized that if you're doing like services, then your startup exit multiple is not going to be like 10x, right? So I was like, okay, if I'm not going to be a millionaire before 30, it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, my father had an untoward health incident with diabetes. So I'm actually a pharmacist by profession. And I came back, and then I realized that, I can actually solve the problem of diabetes management. But there was only one problem, was I could not code. So I started taking coding lessons from a 20-year-old. And I then started, coding iPhone apps. I started with like C, then Objective-C, and then I started coding iPhone apps. And then I gathered like a small team of 6 people, and we started working on this diabetes management solution, which is very complex, much more complex than this. Basically, it was a combination of a hardware, software, and remote cloud software. Believe it or not, we took 5 years to build the solution. And we got CE certification, we got FDA. Our first client was Intel in the US. They could not believe that we built the solution with just 6 people again. And I moved to the Valley, and we had users in 42 countries. And within just 8 months of moving there, we got acquired by this mammoth medtech company called Livongo. And Livongo was acquired for $14 billion by Teladoc. I was heading Livongo's India operations for 2 years as a part of the entire acquisition thing. And after that, I started working on Sketchnote primarily. And I also have a small micro VC based in Singapore, and which I just showed you. And we have invested in 30 startups, and that was a fund one. We are in progress of raising a fund two of $10 million.